Turning now to a heartbreaking story, this one in Arizona. One mom on a mission against the group that bailed out the man charged in her son's murder. That's Nikki Sterling, vowing to fight for change after her 24-year-old son, Dylan McGinnis, was shot and allegedly killed by Travis Lang. This man. Lang was bailed out of jail by a nonprofit group called the Bail Project earlier this year, before police say he shot and killed McGinnis 2 months ago in Indianapolis. Nikki Sterling joins us live now. Nikki, thank you so much for coming on, and I recognize the difficulty of speaking about this, but also the importance of viewers to understand what's happening here. First and foremost, how are you doing?
Oh, we're coping. We're taking it one day at a time.
Well, we appreciate the time. I want to let everyone know about this op-ed you wrote, and I'll show this on the screen if I can. You talked about what we're seeing, these bail funds letting folks out. This is what you said. You said, quote, charitable bail organizations need to be regulated in principle. Aiding an individual who stole food from the grocery store to feed their family is admirable. However, that is not how this organization operates. They are bailing out offenders with a violent criminal history, end quote. Can you elaborate on that and how that affected your family?
Yes. So the Bail Project, their mission is to fight mass incarceration by providing bail assistance, free bail assistance to low-income individuals. And what we're seeing in the state of Indiana is that they're not only just bailing out individuals with misdemeanor charges, but they're also bailing out violent offenders with multiple felony charges. Lang, my son's murderer, had 3 pending felony charges and one with an additional felony charge on his record prior to him being bailed out by the Bail Project. And also, Dylan, my son, is not the first violent offender to be bailed out in the state of Indiana by the Bail Project, that where the offender has turned around to commit another violent crime in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, people watching this is such a difficult situation to even fathom. In fact, the executive director of a similar organization called the Minnesota Freedom Fund, Greg Lewin, suggested in a recent interview that the charges, as you were pointing out, don't matter when bailing people out, saying this in part, quote, I often don't even look at a charge when I bail someone out. I will see it after I pay the bill because it is not the point. The point is the system we are fighting, end quote. What do you make of that statement?
Well, it's really hard for me to wrap my brain around the fact that we're putting violent offenders back out on the streets. Our police officers in Indianapolis are already stretched. Our detectives are stretched. There are a lot of unsolved cases in Indiana, and it's just a revolving door, in my opinion. So we're working with the state legislators to, because of their lack of due diligence in researching the individuals that they're putting back out on the streets and their reckless behavior, we're working with state leaders to regulate this charitable bail organization that will prohibit them from putting violent offenders with felony charges back out on the street, and also impose a $2,000 bail bond cap.
Nikki, finally, before you go, what is the end goal for you and those working with you in regards to this situation?
So my end goal is so that no other family has to fall victim to such a charitable bail organization. We're seeing that this is happening not only in the state of Indiana, but across the nation. And really, no other mother should get the telephone call that I received that night, that their son or daughter had been murdered by an individual that should have remained in jail.
Nikki Sterling joining us live, sharing her story. Nikki, let me just say thank you so much for sharing that. I know that is difficult to do, but hopefully it opens the eyes of many around the country hearing your story so that this does not happen again. Nikki Sterling,
Thank you.
You got it.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.